Hi, I'm Dave Nichols, editor of V-Twin magazine. I'm here at Eddie Trotta's shop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because Eddie and his latest custom are going to be a big part of our new season. But first, we're going to meet Mike Phillips of Grandeur Cycle, whose career has taken him from a Vegas magic act to making two-wheel magic with his extraordinary custom bikes.
Jonesville, North Carolina is a quiet town known for its picturesque churches, a new government center, well, it will be one day, and a local bike builder named Mike Phillips. The big G stands for Grandeur Cycle.
If it goes fast and makes noise, I like it. I don't care what it is. Guns, boats, cars, airplanes, women, it's got to go fast and make noise.
Like that philosophy? Mike's got a million of them.
Things don't break and fail because they're designed and built too heavy duty. People don't have time to do it right, but they always find time to redo it. Plastic is for baby dolls. Aluminum is for airplanes. We build motorcycles. Motorcycles are made out of steel.
Mike and his crew are putting the finishing touches on a new high-end custom.
This is the exciting part. I can almost hear the motor running. We named it Bloodlust. From that we took off. It said Bloodlust. I thought it needed to be blood red. This is a unique design in that there's no kickstand. It has an air ride on the front and the back, so it sits all the way on the ground. You've got to finish assembling the front end, the rockers, put the oil lines on, and finish up a little bit of wiring, put some gas in it.
But Mike doesn't run the business by himself.
I think it's something we ought to invest in.
So how much money are we talking about? Bottom line.
The serious woman behind the desk is Tricia, Mike's wife. She runs the business end of Grandeur. She may be no nonsense now, but in her previous career with Mike, there was a little nonsense.
Yeah, that was almost another life. We did stunts and illusions all over the world on a lot of big review shows, and we were in Vegas and the Bahamas, and we traveled with a lot of big name groups.
Mike sounds pretty casual about it now, but this was a big Vegas-style magic show with a variety of tricks and stunts.
So we traveled for 15 years.
What kind of illusions did you guys do?
We did motorcycle illusion, where he chained me in a doorway, and it would revolve, and he would jump through the motorcycle, and you expect me to be gone, but I'm still chained in.
Utilizing his engineering degree, Mike engineered and built the mechanical effects used in the show. That led some clients to approach Mike about building some machinery for them.
We were still doing magic, and Mike is an engineer, and they wanted him to design and build a machine. So he built that, and it just kind of snowballed. People kept wanting machines built of different kind.
So Mike and Tricia left show business behind and settled down.
I actually started out here as a one-man shop, and I was designing and building tooling and fixturing. And pretty soon it got out of hand. I couldn't do it all, so I hired another guy to help me. And we built a lot of equipment for the food industry, pharmaceutical industry, automotive industry.
Any shop that does fabrication needs a planishing hammer and an English wheel. But Mike wasn't happy with what other people were selling.
We build the planishing hammers and English wheels that you're going to see us use here. And I've had a lot of English wheels over the years, and they're all just a piece of junk. So we designed and built something that worked. All the major players in the bike industry have got our planishing hammers and English wheels, and a lot of the race car shops all use them, and aircraft restoration and repair shops and car restoration shops. And he said, what keeps you from putting your thumbs in there? And my answer to that was, well, nothing the first time.
So how do you go from machine tools to bike building? Like a lot of guys, Mike has that gene that compels you to figure out how things work.
When I was a kid, the more complex the toy, the better, because I wanted to take it apart to see what made it work. I had an electric train when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I got it for Christmas. Christmas Day, I took the locomotive all apart, put it back together. Seeing a train running around a circle on track didn't do a lot for me. But taking it apart and seeing what made it work and how it was designed, that did something for me. All right, now run it back up. I'll see how much space you're in. When I built my first bike, when I was 12, 13 years old, it was a jockey shift, suicide clutch, no front brake. Growing up in a small town, the cops thought it was funny to see a kid riding a bike like that.
And it was that obsession with motorcycles that eventually took Mike in a new direction.
A wheel is round in any industry, and Mechanical design is mechanical design. We started in the motorcycle industry by, first thing we built was stainless steel exhaust brackets. Then the next thing we started doing was stainless handlebars. A lot of stainless parts, fender struts and ignition switch bezels and pegs and shifter pegs and grips and mirror stems and a lot of things out of stainless. And one day one of the guys here said, you know, we make so many motorcycle parts, let's build a motorcycle. Then everybody can see what all these parts look like. A few hundred motorcycles later, here we are.
Mike's latest bike, Bloodlust, is almost ready to roll.
The gas tank. I wanted to do something different here. This tank holds roughly 5 gallons total capacity. Front portion of the tank holds 4 gallons of gas, back portion of the tank holds 1 gallon of oil. There's an air scoop. It cools it by air enters this scoop, goes down and through the tube, and it's a big elliptical tube that's going through the tank, takes the heat off the oil, and then exits back here. That's the first one we've ever done like that. We've got a mountain range of spikes here. I think it's pretty cool. And we've got head bolt covers that we made that match the peaks and the valleys. Here you can see some more of the points, even on the ignition switch. There's no back brake on this bike, at least not on the wheel, but you got to stop the motorcycle. So in order to do that, we've got a trans brake that actually works on this rotor, works really good. Of course, this is a chain drive. It's a big hot rod motor. You wouldn't dare put a belt drive on a rig like this because the belt wouldn't last very long. It, of course, has an auto clutch in it.
No, it's not an automatic transmission. But when we come back, we'll show you how the auto clutch, without touching the clutch lever, lets you do this and this. In Jonesville, North Carolina, Mike Phillips of Grandeur Cycle makes some of the coolest bikes around. In 2006, he won the V-Twin Tech Product of the Year Award for his auto clutch. It's an old concept with a new twist. How does he do that? How is Mike putting around without using his clutch lever? Mike recognized a demand and came up with a solution.
The spring that normally keeps your clutch pack engaged, you have to pull a clutch in to overcome that. You're always pulling against that spring. 60, 70 pounds of hand force. I don't care how big and strong your forearms are, you get in traffic for a couple hours and you're holding that clutch in, and we've all been here doing this thing. And you know, you shouldn't have to fight your motorcycle to ride it. You're having fun, you should be relaxing as much as you can to ride the bike, and this just helps that situation. What the auto clutch does is anytime you're below 1250 or 1300 RPMs, it's the same as having a clutch in. It's always disengaged until you engage it, and you engage it with engine speed. If the bike is in neutral, I just put it in gear. There are a series of steel balls, as you can see, and they're running in this tapered pocket. So they start out at the bottom of the pocket, and the pocket ramps up. And that's what the ball ramps in, and it has a corresponding machine recess on the back side that it travels in. And then, of course, as they roll up, it pushes the plate out.
And when the plate expands like that, it engages the clutch, and the bike goes.
At 2,000 RPMs, you got over 1,000 pounds of force, so you can see what you're dealing with here. And I'm going to tell you that there's nobody alive that can do a whole shot the conventional way like you can do it with auto clutch. All you got to do is just twist the throttle and hang on.
Now Mike's going to hang on to the Bloodlust bike with the auto clutch installed. Bloodlust is finally ready to hit the road.
This thing rides awesome. It's about 11 feet and 7 inches long, and it's a long wheelbase, man. It rides like a cloud. It's great. I'm proud of this bike. I'd be proud of it if somebody else built it. I think it's a cool machine. I think it looks cool, and it rides even better than it looks.
Mike's got plenty of other cool machines in the works. like this hot rod.
This is going to be a pretty radical pro street. It's a 330 back tire. I got a 121 cubic inch motor built specifically for a turbo. It's got hemispherical combustion heads and turbo grind cams, and man, they make just bushels of horsepower and torque. We got a little saying around here that when the clutch drops, the bull stops. This is going to be badass. This is a turbo boost gauge and an oil pressure gauge, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you can ride that bike and look down and see it boost, you got a hell of a lot more balls than I do. I'm going to have both hands on the bar and both eyes on the road. When you twist the throttle, you better be holding the hell on.
With all these great bikes under his belt, Mike's going to keep at it, and his personal philosophy will see him through.
Hey, I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's the way work should be, isn't it? I used to do all the painting, but I can do anything here, but I can't do everything here. So
these journals need to be longer than what the bushing is.
Exactly, which is 725.
725.
It isn't about the money here. It's about the gratification and about the employees here. And I mean, that's like a big family. All these guys have been here and girls have been here for a long time. Pretty good. And one of our customers offered me a job that would have paid 10 times the money that I make here, and I wouldn't even consider it. My theory is if you build something, build it as good as you can build it, hopefully it'll last forever. And it ought to be repairable or rebuildable. You know, I'd like for somebody a couple hundred years from now say, oh yeah, it's a Grandeur bike, you know, that was built back in 2006. That's an old example of old school from back in those days, you know. Thank you very much.